it's a song contest where Israel, a country that is currently committing a genocide in Gaza, are allowed to compete. Yeah, that is a very clear example that does say that when a country accepts in a way that, when a country behaves in a way that is unacceptable, then Eurovision excludes them. So why not Israel?
I think referring to Russia, was she there, or was that?
Yeah, I thought her thing was the environment. This is quite a segue.
Well, she's cropping up everywhere. Yeah, this is Eden's performance on Tuesday, where she was booed by some of the crowd. Right, there's a lot of booing, and the question, I suppose, is whether it's acceptable to kick off like that when you're in the audience at a song contest. So she's been advised to stay in her room due to the criticism and the booing, etc. Who's right here, Andy?
Well, I think with the booing, there's an element of infantile moral grandstanding going on there, and it must be quite threatening for that woman who, I assume, found out she was going to be representing her country before the 7th of October, and this situation arose. We don't know what she thinks about it. We don't know who she condemns or supports necessarily. And to see, I think, as a totemic symbol representing Israel as a country diplomatically, I think is taking it too far. What I would say, however, is that, you know, Eurovision is supposed to be about freedom of expression. People are deeply and rightly concerned about Israel and its crimes, as I see them, in Gaza, and they have a right to protest. So in any way suppressing that right to protest, I think...
It's not infantile, then, to boo?
Well, I'm talking about the protests where they're blocking roads and where they're marching.
Oh,
so there's some criticism of that. I think the booing, to me, is a kind of pointless protest. For me, it does seem infantile. But actually,
okay to boo?
I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think a lot of these kinds of narcissistic grandstanding and things that we're seeing is actually taking away the attention from the victims of this conflict. And I think there are legitimate criticisms to be made, as you said, particularly of the IDF. But to boo a young lady for singing on behalf of a country at a contest that's supposed to be apolitical, who is that helping? It doesn't do anything.
But it's not. But I think, I suppose, it's not apolitical. Eurovision is the most political show there is.
But this,
right?
it shouldn't be. I'm sorry, this is not advancing any cause. I actually felt quite sorry for her, because I can't, on a human level, this is someone who's just singing on a stage. Imagine just being booed by thousands of people. I just don't understand it. For me, I just felt...
It was very loud. But let's bring in the singer Jay Aston, who was part of the group Bucks Fizz, of course, who won Eurovision in '81. Hi, Jay.
Hi there.
What do you think about this? Is it okay to boo an act if their politics is bad?
I think it's terribly sad, isn't it? I mean, obviously, what's going on in Gaza is horrendous. What was going on in Israel was horrendous, and all war. I mean, I don't want to be picking any sides here. It's sad because Eurovision was meant to be a coming together of people to enjoy a light-hearted thing. But it's unfortunate timing that it's just right in the midst of this awful situation. I can't imagine how the poor girl who's competing for Israel feels. She's 20. Whether she wants to do it or not, she'll be under a contract and she will have to do it. And it will probably ruin her career. And she'll be feeling terrible. And she'll go on and probably do the best she can. It's just she's caught in the middle of an awful conflict. And people do jump on the bandwagon of this. And, you know, what can you do? I mean, people have a right to protest. Booing isn't going to make any difference on the ground in Gaza. People will know what they feel, but it's not going to make any difference. This is a very complex situation that's been going on for a very long time. I just hope they can find peace.
We have our own issues, don't we, in Britain with our entry over the years, since the victory for Jay and Bucks Fizz. We seem to be regarded as the Millwall of nation states, where any chance they just come in with us on a sliding tackle, Jay. I mean, we could put up we could put up John Lennon and we'd lose.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not easy to win that competition, and there's so many different countries in it now that it's really difficult. But, Sam Ryder did very well a couple of years ago. And we obviously supported Ukraine because of what they were going through. It's just a really, really tricky situation. We were unaware that at the time we'd had a threat by the IRA, back in the day in 1981. We had Special Branch, we had Outriders. We were unaware of how dangerous, we had people on our doors, and we were just thinking, oh, we've got some extra security. But this is a different situation, but it does become a political focus, and sadly it's about meant to be light-hearted entertainment, and somehow it always seems to be taken over for good or bad.
Of course, they was just showing the video, and I was waiting for the famous skirt moment, and they cut before we saw it. I mean, that was like an absolute iconic moment, Andy, wasn't it?
It was an iconic moment, and actually, I was going to say thank you for mentioning Sam Ryder. I mean, if it weren't for the Ukraine conflict with Russia, we would have won. I mean, hands down.
Oh, for sure. Because he came second.
But let's not forget that Suri, not that long ago, our representative, had a man run on stage and protest live during her performance against, I think he was protesting against the UK media, grabbed her microphone off her and started shouting into it during her performance. She wasn't allowed to perform again.
Yeah.
So, it isn't the first time that political protest has been part of Eurovision.
I think it's fundamental to it, I think. I mean, this is our entry, by the way, Ollie Alexander, we can have a little look at. So the song is Dizzy. There's a big hoo-ha that people claiming that he's singing it inside a urinal, but I think that's just a reference to the tiles on either side. I think
the plumbing on the side is
the plumbing on the side.
Yeah, and the taps. That really looks like a prison.
You think it is the urinal?
Yeah, I think it looks like a prison loo.
Well, okay.
And there's a lot of gyrating. I'm just.
It's a sexy shower block, isn't
it? Don't like gyrating. They banned Elvis for that, and that was the 50s.
Yeah, well,
literally 70 years ago.
Yeah, I'm old school. I'm not into gyrating.
You're not into gyrating. No. That's probably why we didn't.
Very flexible hips, though.
Yeah, but that may be why
Let's do yoga.
They didn't show the Bucks Fizz skirt moment. Thank you, Jay, very much indeed for joining us. Bless you.
Thank you. Good luck to Ollie. I'm not sure he'll do terribly well. It's not the best song, but good luck to him.
Good luck to him. Oh, shade thrown. Carl in Leicestershire, hi.
Hello, Jeremy. How are you, sir?
I'm well. Now, firstly, let's go back to Israel. Is it okay to boo Israel?
Absolutely not. Where do we stop? This is a music festival. This is about music. If you go back to the Eagles' Long Road Out of Eden, that's about the Iraq War. Brothers in Arms, Dire Straits, that was about the war then in Vietnam. It's music. Can we not just listen to the music? Why do we have to make it politicised? What is wrong with these people that are going on about this being an issue? It's music, for goodness sake. And you love your music, Jeremy.
No, because I'm thinking as soon as you say music isn't political, I go straight to Bob Dylan, and I'm thinking, "Is a hard rain gonna fall?" is all about Vietnam, right? It's all political, Carl.
Yeah, well, whether it's political or not, it doesn't matter. It's music. You listen to it, you enjoy the music, and you just enjoy it. You don't take it in unless you're thick and stupid.
Okay.
I wonder if it would have been different if Eden sang a political song, saying I don't know, go IDF in Gaza.
Well,
do you know what I mean?
The point is, she did start with a song. What was it? It was.
Had to change the words.
I think it was called October the 7th. It was October Rain. It was called, and it was very specifically about October the 7th.
Yeah.
But Dylan, look at that stuff. It's all about war.
I'm not a fan of the booing. I'm really not. But however, I do think there is a legitimate protest happening here. Let's not forget, Eurovision can make us think we're talking about something light and fluffy. Let's not forget what we're talking about here. We're talking about the bombing of women and children, innocent civilians, and some absolutely horrific images still coming out, particularly with the assault on Rafah.
I do think...
And it's such, I think it's such an emotionally inhumane, powerful, I can't even find the words to describe the images I've seen. People feel compelled to do something, to say something.
Do you not think it cheapens... Because... Listen, I agree with you. This is obviously very, very heavy stuff. But I feel like a lot of the antics that a lot of these sort of for lack of a better term, pro-Palestinian protesters have been doing, actually cheapens what's going on. I think you're talking about something very important. There are thousands of victims.
Can I let's get one
What is
more call.
What is the best way to address this in the most respectful way? Is booing a 20-year-old
I
girl
think
on
Israel
stage?
should have pulled out. That would be.
Really?
Is
Okay.
booing a 20-year-old on stage the best way to do it? I don't think so.
Paul in Greater Manchester, is it acceptable to boo a 20-year-old because she's singing for Israel?
Hello, Jeremy. Well, firstly, I just want to say I disagree with Jay from Bucks Fizz. I think Ollie's entry is actually better than the Bucks Fizz entry. That's my least favourite of all the English winners so far. And I loved him in It's a Sin too.
I wasn't ready for this battle, that's for sure. Whoa,
But anyway, I'm quite a left-leaning person, but I actually do think it was wrong to boo. But at the same time, I am reluctant to say that because a lot of people, I think both sides of this argument have got ugly. But I do think the people who are totally on the Israeli side, the kind of people who they call everyone woke when you fight against LGBT phobia and racism, but at the same time they're obsessed with anti-Semitism. So I am reluctant to say it, but I do think it's not her fault, and we don't know what her opinions are, to be fair.
OK, Paul, thank you very much indeed.